So ready to start. Giving you a moment to find your preferred seat. Could be a chair, could be the mat, on a bolster, on a pillow. It's all about being comfortable so that all you can think about, all you need to do is to breathe. So to start today, as I mentioned, I've always had an interest in mudras, but always used the excuse that I didn't have the time to really do them and study them. And now I have the time. So I'm going to be including them, and hopefully I'll be learning about them as you're learning about them. So this one is for calming the nervous system. So we're just going to spread out the fingers, make a fist, tuck the thumbs in and make a gentle fist around your thumbs, and just place your hands like that on your lap. Make sure you're sitting comfortably so that you're not distracted, because you want to be able to really follow your breath and concentrate on your breath and learn how to make that transition from external to internal. It's so satisfying. And in the interest of learning, it's a learned action. So close your eyes and just let yourself breathe normally. Check in and make sure that you're basically comfortable. Nothing is demanding your attention other than sitting on the surface that you're sitting on and allowing your spine to effortlessly rise and the crown of the head just float away from the pelvic floor. And it is helpful, like a mantra, to repeat the word calm as your hands are in the calm mudra. And we're going to take, I don't want to do 10, so we're going to do 7 breaths. And if you're able to, stay focused, but don't force it. Just allow it. And see if you can repeat as you're breathing the word calm. And if it's causing tension, or if you're having a problem with it, just breathe deeply. Forget about doing anything in particular, and just become an open vessel. And perhaps in spite of you, calmness will infiltrate and wash over you. I lost count of the breaths, of course. 2 more breaths. And last one. So we're going to stay with the breathing. We're going to do alternate nostril breathing. Let's take the right hand, and you're going to take the thumb and gently place it on your right nostril, and the pinky and the ring finger gently placed on the left nostril. You can release this hand if you like, and just rest it on your lap. So alternate nostril breathing serves a lot of purposes. I'm doing it today as a way to direct your attention to something you might not be that accustomed to doing, and therefore it might actually serve the purpose of calming your nervous system down. So just follow me. I'm going to call it out. You're going to take that right thumb and you're going to press it against the right nostril. Breathe in through the left nostril. Press the pinky and the ring finger lightly against the left, release the right, and exhale through the right. You're going to inhale through the right while it's open. Press the thumb against the right nostril, release the left, and breathe out. And that's all it is. So you're going to inhale through the left nostril that's open. Press the fingers against that nostril gently and breathe out the right. Now we're going to inhale through the right. Press the thumb against the right nostril, release the left, and exhale. Inhale on the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right for 5. Exhale through the left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right, 4. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. For 3. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale left. Exhale right. I lied. This is the last one. Inhale. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Just take a moment in case you got dizzy. Could have been too much oxygen, could have been too little oxygen. But just sort of let that settle in. And if you did get dizzy, just give yourself a chance to come back to being recalibrated. And we're going to do one more mudra, because I've been talking a lot about surrender. So let's bring palms together. You're going to keep the index finger and the pinky touching. You're going to take the middle finger and the ring finger and tuck it, you can see, inside. And then take your thumbs to touch the middle finger and the ring finger. If you have any problems with this, just bring your hands together. And then we're going to turn. So it looks like this. Hopefully you can see it. Just place your hands like that in your lap. It's the mudra of surrender. And I talk about surrender a lot. It's a really interesting concept to include and try to learn. I've said this before, that it's not giving up. It's, on the contrary, it's being aware of your options and being aware of reality and accepting reality in terms of what you can change and what you can't change. And what you can't change, you surrender to. So we're just going to stay here for, let's say, 5 breaths. And you can just inhale to your heart or your lungs. And then as you exhale, feel a kind of heaviness and a kind of a surrender. Even surrendering to gravity is a form of surrender. So for the next 4 breaths, whatever it means to you, and if you don't have a satisfying meaning for it, just repeat the word as you breathe. 3 more breaths. 2. And 1. Nice. So whatever surface you're sitting on, let's come off and move it off to the side. Just let me remove this. Find your way onto your back. Knees bent. Feet on the floor, hips width apart. If your arms are out, stretched out on the floor, just turn your palms up. Take about 3 breaths to allow yourself to sink into the floor. Just making sure you can see me. And you can, again, recruit that idea of surrender, and every exhale, just allow yourself to sink into the floor. Even take a moment to feel gravity pressing onto the front of your body. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your arms on the floor. Feel the back of your head on the floor. Nice. Bringing the hands at your sides. Nope, sorry. Bringing your hands palms down on your lap. Just going to let the arms float overhead. Specifically to feel the shoulder blades sinking into the mat. And then we're going to bring it back. And we don't want to do this too fast because I want you to play with that idea of dead weight so that you actually can feel the relationship of the weight into your shoulder blades as they sink into the mat. And all you're doing is training them to slide down the back. Simplest of terms. And just keep breathing. No specific breath. If you want to, you can inhale as your arms go up and exhale as the arms go down. I think this is 5. So again, you want to feel the blades sinking into the mat and bring it back down. We're going to bring the arms back up overhead just to stay here for a few breaths. Because you may feel the tops of your shoulders here, which is what I want you to feel. And making your arms really heavy may open up the tops of those shoulders. Also, giving your armpits a little air. Lots going on in the armpits. And last breath. Slowly bring the arms back down to the mat at your sides. We're going to turn the palms up here. Just take a moment to let the blades sink into the mat because they're still a part of this equation. And gently circle your arms up over your head and bring them down. You still can play that heavy dead weight idea, but mainly we're doing this for your shoulder blades. For 3, circle all the way up and circle all the way down. 1 more, inhale. I have a feeling my counting was wrong. So some things never change. Let's do one more. And bring it back down. Nice. Just bring the arms up and let's just shake out the wrists. Don't let those shoulders go back to their old habits, right? So just keep them heavy, keep them finding the mat, extend the fingers, make a fist, extend the fingers, make a fist. 3 more, 2 more, 1 more. Keep your fingers extended and we're going to circle. Don't let those shoulders trick you. Don't let them sneak up. Keep feeling the mat and the sinking action and the other way. 3, 2, and 1. Nice. If you want to bring your arms up, it just feels really good. And you can also exaggerate the natural curve of the spine. Make a really big tunnel underneath your lower back. But then you want to come back to neutral. Bring your arms where they're comfortable. I'm going to move them so that you can see. So I'm going to just do a little bit of this. No, that doesn't really work. I'm going to bring my arms out to the side. So speaking of swinging the pelvis, find your neutral spine or natural curve of the spine. Going to tuck. Could feel really good on the lower back. And then we're going to go to the other extreme. So we're swinging the pelvis. So 4 and 3. You can exhale here if you want. Inhale here. 2, exhale. And 1. And then you just want your spine and your pelvis to find a neutral place, but don't or try to resist pressing your lower back into the floor. We want a natural curve of the spine here. So bring the soles of the feet together and just drop your knees out to the side. 5 breaths here. Help letting gravity help for your knees to fall out gently. If you want to provide a little more pressure, you can take your hands and just press your knees softly or your thighs. This is for your hip flexors. Using your breath. Inhale, exhale. This one you can actually feel the natural curve of the spine. We want to kind of stay here. 1 more breath. So gently and slowly bring the knees back, hips width apart, separate the feet, and bring your knees towards your chest. Place your palms on the outsides of your knees. We're going to do a gentle isometric action here. Again, check in with your shoulders. Make sure they're sliding down your back. Isometrically pressing the palms into the outside of the knees and the knees out towards the hands, and you might actually feel your pelvis or your sacrum kind of reset. Feels really good. Very stabilizing. 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. Beautiful. Bring the hands down to the mat. Bring the feet down to the mat. Hips width apart. Draw the right knee in towards your chest and aim the knee towards the armpit. It's like half squat. So we're kind of trying to get into the hip fold. You want to feel that hip fold quite a bit. And just breathe into that. Checking in and make sure you have a natural curve of the spine. Not an exaggerated natural curve, just a slight separation from the mat. Inhaling and exhaling. I'm going to take the left leg and straighten the knee out on the mat. You can keep the left foot active. So everybody's going to have a different range here. We're going to straighten the right knee. You can hold on behind your thigh and reach through the heel. Another isometric action. Before we do that, just make sure that your natural curve of the spine is there, or you're at least resisting curling your tailbone. I'm going to do another isometric action, pressing the leg and the thigh into the hand and pressing the hand back towards your chest. Another stabilizing action, subtle but powerful. Using your breath for about, let's do one more breath. Nice. And then some of you may be fine leaving your hands here. We're just going to kind of gently guide your leg towards your face, towards your upper body. If you have more range of motion, you can take your hands a little higher on your leg. We're just going to take about 3 breaths here. Keep reaching through the heel, so not punching through the ball of the foot, reaching through the heel. Whole different action. Inhale, exhale. Keep your elbows soft. We never hyperextend knees or elbows. And check in with your natural curve. It's probably gone, but you want to resist curling your tailbone. So depending on where you can, I can hold on to my big toe. I'm not showing off. You can hold on here. You can hold on here. And we're going to take that leg out as far as you're comfortable. So you kind of don't want to disturb your alignment too much. It's going to be a little shift in the pelvis, but you want to resist that. That's why you don't want to go out too far. And we're just going to breathe here. Reaching through the heel, so don't forget about that. And keeping your elbow soft. Come back. I think we're going to do it this way. Release your leg, bend the knee, and just take it over to the left. Once you get as far as you're going to go, try to square your shoulders off. The bottom leg, if you reach through the heel, it's including more of your body, which is what you want to do. But the main action, of course, is the twist. So make sure that you're using your abdominals here. You're squaring off your shoulders. Probably feels really good. Savor it. And bring it back. Bend both knees. Take a moment. Play with surrender. Sink your body. Whatever part of the body is touching the mat, sink it into the mat. Check in with the natural curve of the spine. Just say hello. Gonna bring that leg up. Hold on. Behind. No, sorry. I knew I forgot something. Bend the knee and bring it in towards the left armpit. Half squat, right? Deepening into the hip crease on the left. And make any adjustments you need to make. Shoulders, lower back, squared hips. Inhale, exhale. Then we're going to straighten that leg, right leg on the mat. Straighten the left knee. Again, your edge, your range of motion. So if you can't do this, do this. Main thing is you want to keep that leg parallel, right? So don't turn it out, don't turn it in. Find like a sweet spot in between and reach through the heel. Don't punch through the toes, reach through the heel. And we're going to do that isometric action. So everybody's holding on behind the thigh. Press the thigh into the hands and the hands into the thigh. And just play with that. Make that the main action, and you might actually feel how that resets everything, stabilizes. Nothing's better than feeling stable, especially these days. And one more breath. So finding your place where you can hold on. We're going to stay here. Keep reaching through the heel, right? Firing up the backs of the legs. If you can, keep the elbows soft. Inhaling and exhaling. Taking that leg out to the side. There will be a shift. Just don't make it too drastic. And again, check in with your shoulders. There might be so much going on that they think they can sneak up. So you want to be the captain of your ship and say, no. Use your breath. See if you can feel the inner thighs. Inhale and exhale. One more. When we come back, release the foot, bend the knee, and take that left knee over to the right side. You might find that like one side is tighter than the other, which is the case for me. This side is much tighter. So it's a different edge. It's a harder edge. We love our edges, hard and soft. But that doesn't mean that you can't recruit all those internal actions, right? So the internal actions here are squaring off your shoulders and using your breath. Exhale, pull in the tummy. And then bringing it back to the center. Let's bend the knees. Take a moment, use the breath, surrender to gravity. Inhaling and exhaling. One more time, bring soles of the feet together and just let the knees drop out to the side. See if you can release your glutes here and see if you can let the weight of the knees facilitate a little more releasing of the hip flexors. So as we bring the knees together one more time, place the palms on the outsides of the knees, keep the natural curve of the spine, or resist curling your tailbone in a isometric press. Knees out to the palms, palms into the knees, and let all that energy like flow down into your butt bones, your sacrum, tailbone. Release your arms, take them out to the side, bring your knees towards your chest. We'll take a nice twist. I'm going to the left. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to this. But here, see if you can drop those knees. See if you can square off your shoulders. See if you can ask that. I'm on the right. So see if you can ask that right shoulder blade to sink into the floor to the best of your ability. A little deeper twist. So you might need to go a little deeper into your abdominals. Nice. And carefully and slowly bring it up over to the other side. Same idea. Go to your edge and then readjust. So check in with your shoulders, square them off. Left blade in for me. Just reminding it to sink into the mat, and then using my abdominal breathing. One more breath. Nice. And come back to the center. We're going to attempt a forward bend here. I say that because everybody's range of motion is different, and we usually do it in the wall. So I'm going to improvise. So let's do it this way. You're going to bend the knees and see if you can just kind of aim your chest for your thighs. So it looks like this. And let's just take a few breaths here. Your feet are hips width apart. And trying to keep your shoulders in your armpits kind of works, huh? Now, this might be fine for you, for some of you, and if it is, just stay here, because what we're trying to do is release the lower back a little bit, which I can actually feel. Then we want to try to get to the hamstrings. So I'm going to move up a little bit. So I'm going to try and get you guys to kind of walk your butts back and to your edge, right? You want to keep this relationship. And then when you find your edge, you can flex your feet. We usually have something to rest our heads on. If you do have blocks, use your blocks, like so. So I'm going to put my block up pretty high. So your knees are bent here. You can just rest your head on the block if you have it. If you don't, you can use a pillow. We're all improvising here, so. Name of the game, improvising. It's a form of surrender if you think about it, right? So nothing's perfect. No such thing as perfection either. So hopefully you guys are feeling your hamstrings, because these forward bends are specifically for lower back, upper hamstrings. We've been here for a while, but in the interest of formality, let's stay here for another 5 breaths. And don't forget to use your abdominals, which I'm not. And know that forward bends are not the extreme, but close to the extreme introverted pose. So literally, you're turning in to yourself, right? So it's a chance to be introspective. Back bends, on the other hand, are extroverted, and it's your opportunity to project outward. Just a little bit of yoga trivia. So we're going to take our time and stay here. Actually, if your knees are bent, that's good too. Just stay here and let's play that extension of the tailbone to the crown of the head, or unround your back. You can kind of feel that. Feels really good, actually. Inhaling and exhaling. Nice. So when we come up to a little bit of Janu Shirshasana, just stay here. I'm going to bend the right knee. I'm going to face you so you can see. Doesn't have to be way up at the top of your leg, your left leg. Now we're going to fold forward. Inhaling and exhaling. So now you're going to get a chance to really get to those hamstrings and the lower back. Especially after you fold, you're going to really kind of lift out of the fold and aim the tailbone away from the crown of the head, right? Take the right hand wherever it lands and take a twist. Pulling your tummy in. Coming back to the center, and we'll switch. One thing to be aware of, you want this heel to be lining up with sort of where in the middle of your thigh. It's just alignment matters. And your bones like it. And then we're going to fold forward again. When we fold forward, take a few breaths rounding. It's okay. But then come out of it and extend tailbone away from the crown of the head. Always using your breath. Just notice every time you change the shape, it changes the experience. Wherever this hand goes, it can go here, it can go here, it doesn't matter because we just want to twist. An edge is an edge. Always using your abdominals. And paying attention to the pelvic floor and the crown of the head. One more breath. Nice. I want to make an attempt here to do blocks under the sacrum. And if you don't have blocks, so I'm going to give you all a choice. If you have a block and you want to turn, and just place the block underneath your sacrum at whatever level you're comfortable with. And whenever you use blocks, it's the epitome of surrender because you're surrendering the support that your body normally has to provide with an object that you can rely on to support you, i.e. the block. If you don't have a block, we're just going to do, starting off again, natural curve of the spine, right? Feet are not like really close to your butt, comfortable distance. Just start off with natural curve of the spine. That's the most important thing. So I want you to feel a slight lift in the lower back. And we're going to gently lift, hold it for a second, and gently lower, back to a natural curve. Okay? Do 3 of those. So as you lift, you can inhale. And as you lower, you can exhale. We'll do one more. Lift. It's like an elevator. Inhale. Lower. Exhale. I'm going to include the arms now. Let's see if you can see me. I think you can. Okay. As we lift the hips up, and again, just always remind yourself to have a natural curve. So don't smash your lower back into the floor at any point. We're going to inhale, bring the arms up, tuck the shoulder blades, exhale, lower down. I'm going to say 5 of these. Inhale, and those of you who are on the blocks, stay there as long as you want. And you can also aim the soles of your feet up to the ceiling, which is also a really nice way to practice surrender or release. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to the natural curve. Rock your hips back and forth. If you're on the blocks, come down off the blocks and just windmill your knees back and forth, specifically to release your lower back. And don't worry about form here. Just get into the motion of it. Come back to the center. Separate your feet a little wider than your hips. We're going to drop knees to the right. Take the right heel, place it on top of the left knee. Bring the left arm overhead with your palms down if you can. Once your frame is set, use your abdominal breathing. You'll understand why as soon as you do it. Because you'll start to feel your psoas. Very hard muscle to feel, by the way. So if you do feel it, it's a gift. One more breath. Coming back to the center. Knees to the left. Right arm overhead, left heel on right knee. Pull your tummy in on the exhale, contract into your abdominals. One more breath. Nice. Since this is a restorative, I just want to always come back to this place of calm, right? So even if you want to tuck your thumbs into your palms and curl your fingers, right? And just bring your hands wherever they're comfortable, palms down. We're going to take 5 breaths here. And breath is a funny thing. Breath can also be effortful, which can cause tension and the opposite of calm. So you don't want to make your breath effortful, you want to make it effortless. So wherever it is, meet it. And one more breath. Gently and slowly roll onto your tummies. I'm going to do some gentle back bending here. But before we start, just cross your hands like a little pillow and rest your forehead and rock your hips back and forth so that you can release everything. So we want to release everything, including the shoulders. Kind of like check and make sure you feel like you're as centered as possible. Every now and then, check in with your glutes and see if you can release them as we move forward. And always remind yourself to pull your tummy in to protect your lower back. So what we're going to do here is you're going to point through, since my left foot is closest to the screen, I'm going to do it on my left, so I guess you guys should do it on the left too. So you're going to just like extend your toes so that you feel like you're going to touch the wall behind you, okay? And then I want you to pay attention to your hip bones. And they should be aiming, not pressing, because that would mean that you're tucking. So just aiming towards the floor evenly. And then I just want you to lift. And this is not, again, a competition. This is just an action, learning the action of lifting the foot, the knee, if you can, and the thigh, but the thigh, that might be too hard. So you just want to do it to the extent that you can. And just use your breath. Check in with your glutes. They are going to engage, but you're going to try to mush them and then use your abdominals and lower. Other side. Extend the toes towards the wall behind you. Let the leg get really long and just lift the height that you can, making sure that your hips stay square. Release the glutes, engage the abdominals, breathe. This is called locust, by the way, and I have no idea why. And lower down. Good. Shake it out. Might need a really good shake here. If at any point you feel tension in your lower back, sit back on your heels and release your lower back. Take both arms and extend them. So I want to caution you here because your shoulders are going to think that It's a different day and they can do whatever they want. So remind them, no, 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 no. They stay connected to the back. They slide down the back. Even though you're going to aim right fingertips out in front towards the wall in front of you, and you're going to lift, but you're not going to lift with the shoulders going towards your ears. You're going to lift with the shoulders sliding down your back. And if it's a little unfamiliar, allow that. That's okay. And then lower. Other side, same thing. So you're always meeting yourself where you are, no judgment. And you're always going to be kind and you're going to say, okay, I see that you're confused. What can I do here to help you? Inhale and exhale. Nice. Hold it for one more breath. Going to go back to the legs. Release the glutes, engage the abdominals to start. I'm just lifting my head because if I smash my nose, I can't talk. Aim toes towards the wall behind you, lift. It's natural that your glutes are going to squeeze, so there's really not much you can do about it, but you can use your abdominals, so make sure you do that. And lower. Arms, same thing. Remind the shoulders that you're watching. You know what they're doing. And lower. And I bet you can't guess what we're going to do next. I'm going to put it all together. And we're going to lift. And again, please be aware of any part of your body that is not happy with this, but also use your abdominals. Might be the biggest lesson you can learn. So pull your tummy in. 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. Nice. Now, let's all sit back in a child's pose. And rock back and forth. Before we switch this up, we're going to do a very intense shoulder opener, pec opener. Since I'm not there, to watch you, you have to be your own judge. If this doesn't feel right for you, don't do it. I don't really have an alternative for you to do. I guess you could sit on your heels and take clasp hands behind your back and squeeze shoulder blades and open up your collarbones. You can do that. If you're going to try this, you're going to bring your arms out, hands line up with the shoulders, and just take a breath or 2 here. So I'm going to be rolling to my right. So the first thing I'm going to do is roll onto my side, and this is almost like to test. And this foot goes behind this straight leg, okay? And so we're trying to open up this part. I'm going to give you guys like 5 breaths to figure it out. So if it's no big deal, you just stay here for 5 breaths. If you need the 5 breaths to just kind of figure it out, that's fine. I mean, you can take this hand behind your back and clasp your palms together if you're adventurous. And let's say 1 more breath. Other side. So just come back to neutral. Always come back to neutral. You can rock it back and forth. And for me, it's the right leg behind the left. This hand, you just stay here. But it's all for the pec. And here's what I was talking about before, if you want to clasp your palms together. Inhaling and exhaling. Sometimes the neck gets a little cranky. So move it around. And come on back. We're going to sit back into child's pose again. Just going to take a sip of water. So whatever you need to get into a gentle seat, you can do some seated sequences. For today, take a minute, I should say a few seconds, just to reconnect with your breath, to recalibrate your breath, to feel the energy that perhaps was released. If you're feeling calmer, just sit in it. Check and make sure that your right foot is in front of your left, easy seat, and my favorite, twist and side bend. I'm going to take right hand to left knee. And in the interest of calmness, we're going to stay here for at least 3 breaths to deepen the twist and to lengthen the breath, to deepen the breath, and leaning the right shoulder towards the right knee. 3 breaths, energizing, awakening the left side. Don't change anything, just bring fingertips on either side of that right knee. Scoop your abdominals in. Don't worry about your shoulders until you feel them release, and then you can extend. Even look to the right. Include your neck, include your head, and use your breath. Come back to the center, switch. Acknowledge pelvic floor, spine effortlessly rising, crown of the head floating away. Take a twist to the right. 3 breaths. Leaning the left shoulder to the left knee, awakening the right side. It's a kind way of referring to the sensation of lengthening. Rotate to bring both fingertips on either side of the front foot, knee, left. Scoop your abdominals in and see if your shoulders release, and turn your head. And when we come back, I want to end with a seated split. So we've been doing this lately, and it's just an important, kind of pulls everything together, inner thighs, so anything that's in the center. Again, we don't want those feet way out unless you can still sit on a sound pelvic floor. So you have to be the judge of that. Lift and fold forward. Try to aim your toes up to the ceiling, which makes your legs parallel. Try to reach through the heels. See if the backs of the legs have fired up. Contract into your abdominals using your breath. So we're going to stay here for 5 more breaths. If you're able to hold on to your feet, you can kind of keep them honest and like grab on the outside of the pinky toes and perhaps it'll help. But the main thing is we're trying to find these corners back here. And the more you use your abdominals, and you may want to think about pigeon-toed in your hips, internal rotation. Anyway, if you pull your tummy in and you imagine that action going all the way to your buttock bones, you might notice that you go a little bit further. And bring it up. So we are going to do Shavasana today. But before we do that, we'll just do a little twisting lying down. So just set yourself up so that you can go right into Shavasana after the twists. And I'm also going to add a little mudra to it after we do the twists. So lie down. Feet are on the floor. Knees are bent, feet are on the floor. Just to stick with the theme so that you learn this and it becomes second nature. Natural curve of the spine. Lift your butt, move it over to the right. Cross the right knee over the left. If you can hook your ankles and drop. This is one of the most intense twists. So if it's intense, you're exactly where you should be. And one more breath. Bring it back. Everything comes back to the center. Lift your hips over to the left. Cross left knee over right and drop. And it really does help if you pull your tummy in. Nice. When we come back to the center, so we're going to do Shavasana today because we did a restorative and I think we kind of could use it. But I want to include a mudra that you can choose to do or not. It's pretty easy, but it's the mudra of harmony. So I'm not sure you can see me, but it's pretty easy to describe. So it's very simple. If you can see me, you're just going to bring, you're kind of creating a triangle. So your thumbs touch, all your fingers are together, the remaining four, and they're kind of turning in, right? I hope everybody gets that. So if you're looking at your hands, there's a triangle. The bottom of the triangle goes across the thumbs, and the rest of the triangle follows the index finger, and then all the other fingers are just lined up and with the index finger. And you're just going to place that on your tummy. Meanwhile, I'm going to try to add some music. So bear with me.
Connected to slowly right arm.
Allow your breathing to come back to normal, which just means pay attention to your breath, coming back to wherever you might have gone. Take your time. If your eyes were closed, open them and notice as the light enters through your eyes, start to include the external world. Hopefully you went deep into your internal world. Transition from one to the other, back and forth, is often not paid attention to, so it's kind of a nice new transition if you're not accustomed to it. Gently make your way to a seated position, or not. If you want to stay lying down, please stay there. But if you want to make your way up to a seated position, comfortable seated position. You can close your eyes again. Stay in that kind of twilight state. Bring hands to heart. Anjali Mudra. Palm to palm. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. And namaste. Be well.